Hello everyone, welcome to Shirley Talk TV. I'm Mindy Burns-Haws, and we have a very special guest today, Daivie. Thank you, Daivie, for being here.
Oh, thank you all for having me.
Well, we wanted to have you on because you have a positive story to share with us. While cancer is not an easy topic to discuss, especially it being so personal, you're a success story.
Yes.
Because you have an anniversary coming up.
I do, my 10-year anniversary is in February, and I cannot wait.
And we're not talking about a wedding anniversary. We're talking about a cancer-free anniversary.
Yeah, 10 years. 10 years.
You will definitely need to celebrate that as best you can in the current state of affairs.
I will absolutely find a way, I promise.
So thank you very much. So that in and of itself will be an inspiration to everyone, because you can beat cancer, you can fight the fight, you can beat the cancer,
Yeah.
and you can come out on the other side and have a very happy, fulfilling life. So we're very glad that you're here to share your story with us.
Oh, thank you.
Start off by just telling us what your life was like before cancer. Introduce us to you a little bit.
Sure. So I am currently 54 years old. I was 44 when I was diagnosed. My family and I moved here from Virginia to Louisville. My husband worked for Circuit City, if you can even remember what Circuit City was. Brian opened the new store in St. Matthews when there was a new store in St. Matthews. And I got a job at St. Lawrence School. Now it is now Notre Dame Academy. I had then two very small children. My oldest was 4 and my youngest had just turned 1. And we were finding our life here in Louisville. Loved it. It's the best little big city you'll ever find. Made great friends, had great times, and truly loved teaching. My family moved here. They did kind of that reverse following. They all came from Virginia and DC, and they moved here, and we were pretty fortunate.
So you have a full life with family and friends,
Absolutely.
a job that you love, and then all of a sudden...
And then I put on a sports bra. That's what happens. Then I put on a sports bra. My children, both of my girls, one was just getting ready she was in high school going into 10th grade, and my little one was in 8th grade. And we made a New Year's resolution that we were going to exercise. So I, like most women, were fighting my way into this contraption, trying to pull it down over. And when I pulled down over the right side, I felt a perfectly round lump in my right breast. And I thought, well, that's weird. And I thought, okay, well, I'll call the doctor and make an appointment to go have it checked out. I didn't say anything to anybody because I thought it's not going to be anything. It's probably a cyst. Back in the day, sorry, Mike, I had big boobs. Well endowed. I was like, it's dense breast tissue. It really is probably a cyst. And I'll go see my gynecologist and we'll get it taken care of. So didn't say anything to my husband or to my children, and called and made an appointment and got in to see Dr. Oliphant on the 25th of January. And he agreed with me. He did a breast exam, he felt it, and he said, that is so perfectly round and smooth, it really probably is a cyst. It may need to be drained. We'll get you in at the clinic, we'll take an ultrasound and a mammogram,
Right.
and we'll take it from there. At that point, I told my parents, I told my husband, nothing to worry about whatsoever. We're all in great shape. Doc agrees with me.
Yeah.
And I went for my biopsy. I went for my mammogram and my ultrasound and was asked to stay. And that's when I knew that maybe we weren't as smart as we thought we were. And the doctor showed me a dense mass and said, we need you to come back tomorrow and we'll biopsy it and see. And I went on a Friday for the biopsy. It was the longest weekend of my life, and found out that Monday that I was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow. And no family history.
None.
No symptoms. It's not like you
No.
feeling ill.
No, nothing hurt. And truly, had I not been pulling on that sports bra, I don't know how long truly like many women, I went for my physicals and for my annual exams every year. But I wasn't doing self-exams once a month in the shower like we're supposed to do. It wasn't even on my radar.
Right.
It wasn't even on my radar.
Then you get the diagnosis and it's like, I would imagine, just having the wind knocked out of you suddenly.
I am not a crier in times of panic. I am not a crier in self-pity. And I sat on my floor and I sobbed when I heard that diagnosis. I went from the doctor's office, I cried in the car, and I drove straight to my parents. I was 44 years old and I wanted my mom. I drove directly to my parents' house and just walked into their arms and I cried, and we all cried together for about an hour.
Right.
And then we got ourselves together and said, okay, now what are we gonna do? And what's the plan and what happens next?
Right.
And that, I will tell you, is where, I'll tell you, I'm a very fortunate human being anyway. I am very blessed, and I don't say that in any type of way except in sincere way. I'm a blessed human being. I have my people, I have my tribe, and it includes 500 plus people at Notre Dame Academy. I went to my friends and said, who was your surgeon? Who was your oncologist? Who was your, and I got name after name after name. And what can I do for you and how can I help you? And I said, and I called all those people, and they came to me and they helped me find that path that I needed. So that, when I say I was blessed, they are all a part of why I'm still here. So I got that diagnosis mid-February. I met Dr. Montez. I saw Dr. Chipman, who was my surgeon, and talked about, of course, immediately I was like, just get it out. Just take them all, take what you need, cut them off. I don't care. I've been married long enough. He's a lucky guy. You'll be fine.
Just get the cancer out.
And she said, well, you have to talk to the oncologist first. So I met Dr. Montez at the end of February, and I was diagnosed with triple negative cancer, stage 3B, because the size of my tumor was the size of a softball. At that point, it filled my entire right breast. It had gone from just being this small round thing that I felt at the end of January and had grown to fill my entire breast by the end of the next month. And Dr. Montez said, I'll never forget, I'm just like, okay, you know, you just said, okay, what are we gonna do? And he said, we're gonna wait on surgery, we're gonna do chemo first. I thought, are you insane? Like, how long have you had this job? Like, the job is to get this out of my body.
Right.
And he said, we're gonna watch it. This is great, that is there, and it's so large. I'm like, okay. And this way we can monitor the chemo's effect. He said, you're triple negative. It is the most aggressive. It is the rarest, and it is the fastest growing type of cancer. And it has a very low survival rate once it gets past into your lymph nodes and through your body. I said, okay, so here we go. So I saw him. I'd had a port put in by Dr. Chipman. I saw him on a Monday, and I started chemo on Wednesday, that Wednesday.
Right.
And it was just, I had zero experience. Nobody in my family. You know, you see all the horror things on TV, you know, people's hair falling out, and they're throwing up, and they're lying on the bathroom floor, and I truly didn't know what to expect.
Right.
I didn't know how to prepare my kids or to prepare myself, my husband. So I read, because I'm a librarian at heart, and that's what we do. I started researching, and I read there were, at the time, 10 years ago, there were 26 types of chemo.
Wow.
Only 2 work for triple negative cancers. And if these 2 don't work, then there's nothing that's going to help you. So I went in, and of course it was one of them being the red devil, which is the one that makes you lie on the floor and lose all of your hair and throw up and feel like you're walking through molasses all of the time. But I went into the first one, and you know, I'd had a port put in the week before, and then I had the chemo put into that. And for those of you that don't know about the red devil, it's so toxic that the nurses are entirely gowned. Of course, we're used to seeing people in PPE now, but at the time, they couldn't touch their body because it would rip through their skin.
Oh my goodness.
And this is what goes through your body, and it basically kills everything in its path in order to help you out. So my first treatment, my husband came with me, and I felt okay when I left. I was like, you know, I'm pretty darn tough. Look at me go. They said this was going to be bad.
Right, I can do this.
Bad. We stopped. I ate blueberry pancakes. I'm like, look at me go. By about 8 o'clock that night, I was sitting in the chair. My husband said, I have never seen you so pale in my entire life.
Oh my goodness.
I tried to walk from my chair to my couch, and it felt like it took me an hour and a half to move across the room. And then I just lay down, and I think I got up I had to get up the next morning because I had to go for the fantastic Neulasta shot. That boosts your white blood cell count, and that is a lovely, lovely thing where you stand and they inject Neulasta into your arm, It takes about 45 seconds because it's so thick. It's like a gel, and you can actually feel it. Oh, it's delightful. And you say thank you the entire time because this is boosting your white blood cell count, and you're like, this is sucky. I got up from my Neulasta shot, and then I was probably down for the count for a week. I didn't want to eat, and I love food. Like I love her of food, and nothing smelled good, nothing tasted good. But I hadn't lost any hair. I was like, again, look at me, I'm superhuman. I've got this, I can handle this. I had to go back and have my blood drawn for my counts because I was going to go back to work. And the doctor said, oh yeah, no, your blood counts are low, honey, and right now you may have to have a transfusion, so you have to go home. You can't go to school.
Right.
Again, when I say I'm blessed, I had a million sick days. And I have lovely administrators who said, you take all the time you need,
right,
and you do what you need to do. So I didn't have to worry about job loss like many people do.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to worry about an income like many people do. I was allowed, I would typically take from Wednesday to that following Monday off of work, and then I would go to school Monday.
Wow.
And stay as long as I could. And if I needed to leave, Mary Doris McKevins, who was lovely, my assistant, would take over, and I would just go home.
Keeping some sense of normalcy, though,
was very
helped
important.
You?
I made my kids go to school. And then, in hindsight, when I look back at it, I would have done it differently. I would have let them come with me to chemo. I never let them do that because I didn't want them to see it. And there really was nothing to watch. I mean, I was injected and fell asleep. It was exciting, and they couldn't really do a whole lot, but right. I wanted them to have a routine, and I needed a routine. And really, my job is a big part of my life. And that was a big part of my support system, so I needed to be there with them. Mm-hmm.
So a day in the life, so you did this for every day for?
I had 4 rounds of that chemo every other week. I had a round of that every other week. It was toward the end of the 3rd week where I just had my 2nd round that my hair started to come out, which was horrifying to me. I'm not a vain person, but I wanted it off my head. Like right. I couldn't stand clumps. I'm in the shower and clumps right. of hair. Or I'd try to brush it back and it would come off in the brush. And that to me was just awful. I just want it off.
Yeah.
But my school, because I told you they are my people, they were doing St. Baldrick. And they asked me if I would shave my head there mm-hmm. because it was going to help raise money for people that needed it. So for about a week and a half, I waited with this clumpiness coming out, and it was such a relief to go shave my head. I know most people were dreading it. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for that to get off of my head.
Right.
And then people say stuff like, oh, you have a beautiful head. I'm like, I won't tell you what I wanted to say about it. These are things we're not supposed to know. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks so much. I know it's traumatizing for a lot of people. My family came. I got it shaved there. Uh-huh. Stayed. Did not feel great. Stayed. We went home, and then my husband and my girls and I went upstairs, and I let my girls finish shaving it down and evening it out. And that was probably, I think to them, that was a big reality check, because now people start looking at you.
Yeah.
And people start asking questions or, making assumptions about you when you have no hair.
And is it better for people to ask? Or is it, do you want to kind of crawl into yourself and, just deal?
No, it's better for people to ask. to me, because then you can educate people. My mom took me to look at wigs, which I tried on wigs, and I bought a wig, and I think I wore it exactly twice. I think my dog wore it more than I did. The kids put it on the dog's head, my husband had it on. Probably should have brought it to school back then. That was lice, but thought about it. But it wasn't me, and I didn't like the way it felt. I tried hats for a little while and said, forget it. I just was bold, and the kids were okay with that, and my kids were okay with that, and it was me.
And your treatment journey, how long from start to finish did that last? Because we're kind of skimming over it, but this was your life. You described it to me as having your life hijacked.
It was. It really was, because I brought my planner, the amount of doctor's appointments. It's not just going for chemo. It's going the next day for your Neulasta, and then the Monday prior to chemo for your lab work, and then for any kind of medicine they have to do or prescriptions you have to have prior to your chemo. I had 4 weeks of 4 rounds of the Red Devil. So it lasted till the beginning of May, February, March to mid-April. Then the tumor shrunk to nothing after that. So I went back and met with Dr. Chipman, my surgeon, and she said, what is it that you want to do? And I said, I don't want this again. And it has a high recurrence rate. I don't want it again. What do I need to do? And she said, I would recommend a mastectomy, but you don't have to because that tumor is gone. You don't have any cancer in your body. And I said, no. You take it and you take its friend. You take them both, make me even, get them off, and then I'll worry about reconstruction.
Right.
But, because I said, I hear you can have reconstructive surgery at the same time. Like you can take them and then just build them back and I'll heal all at once.
Right.
No, not me, because everyone is different and every case is different. I had the double mastectomy, but I had to wait until after 12 more rounds of chemo and 8 weeks of radiation. Then I could talk about reconstructive surgery. So I had the double mastectomy in the beginning of May because I had the surgery, I want to say May 1st or 2nd. And again, pardon my French, I would be damned if I missed that derby party. So I had, I think it was 67 staples.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was 67 staples, all wrapped up. I had 8 drains, which you have to have drains put in your body. You look like an octopus all hanging out. You have a special bra kind of thing that you have to wear. So I sent my husband to the store. I said, I need a shirt I can pull up, Brian. So he found some elasticy looking. I looked like I was going to Puerto Vallarta. Pulled this elastic thing over me, tucked it, because it had to be big. It had all these drains. And I went and sat at that derby party for a grand total of probably 45 minutes before I couldn't do it anymore. But I went.
Right.
But following my surgery, you have to strip your drains, which creates a suction. So they have little bulbs on the end. And you pinch at the top and you pull tight, and then it sucks all the liquid out. It hurts like a son of a biscuit eater. And you have 4 on either side. And you do that about 4 times a day. And then you have to measure the liquid that comes out and record it down so you can take that information back to your doctor to make sure you're healing well. That lasted, I'm not sure how many weeks I had those lovely drains. That was the pork and the drains were the things I couldn't wait to get rid of. When I went back to have the drains removed, and again, it's like starting a lawnmower. The doctor, I don't think he's going to be this great
Your
scientific
descriptions,
method.
though, make it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
The doctor took the tube and wound it around his hand and yanked. And it looked like a snake coming up the side of my body. And it felt real great, sliding out of my body. And he just would pull all this tubing out 4 times on this side, 4 times on this side. And then I lay there while they pulled 67 staples out, 1 at a time, across my body and tried not to cry because it hurt. I was so glad they were coming out, but it didn't feel good. I had to heal from that. And then I started 12 weeks of Taxol, which is kind of a cleanup chemo, just to make sure nothing is hiding anywhere in your body. Mm-hmm. So that was once a week for 12 weeks. That was my whole summer. I thought I was going to get my summer back, and I had to go every Friday was my Taxol day. And that took most of the day because it's a slow infusion as well. And then toward the end, I think maybe my 10th round of Taxol, I went and met with the radiation therapists, and I got my first tattoo. My only tattoos, where they mark your body, which again, I had no idea. I didn't read about that. You lay there and they draw these beautiful little pictures on you with markers. They draw all over you with markers with these little X's, and they cover them with plastic so they don't go away. And then you come back and they image you again and they trace it again. I looked like I had constellation maps all over my body. And then they poke you, they tattoo you so that they can have their alignment. So every time you come back every day, it's aligned perfectly because you can only radiate that spot 1 time. If my cancer were to come back in that area, I couldn't have radiation again. But I told my husband, I'm all tatted up. But I still have those marks. Again, I think I stopped counting maybe at 80 because at first it felt like a prick and by the end I was crying and trying not to. And I'm not a crier, but it hurt and it just hurt my heart. But that was 8 weeks. I went every day, Monday to Friday for 8 weeks of radiation therapy. And then we went to Vegas to celebrate. My family and I had a birthday. It was my birthday, it was my dad's birthday, and all of us, my parents, my brother, my kids, my husband, got on a plane and we flew to Vegas. And I was tired, but I walked the strip and I won $300 and I thought it was big-ish. And we celebrated the end of that part of my journey, and I thought that the hardest part was behind me. I had had mouth sores. I went from a person that took a vitamin to a person that took 7 or 8 prescriptions every day.
Yeah.
I had mouth sores from the chemo that went down my mouth and down into my throat, on my hands, behind my ears. Every side effect that you could read about, I got because I'm just that good. I was like, it's not a side effect, I'll take it. It was hard. It was hard. And I had insurance, and I had a family, and I didn't have to worry about my job, and I didn't have to worry about, was I going to be able to feed people? I didn't have to worry about any of that, and it was incredibly hard, that part. And then I got to talk about Reconstruction, which I thought, girls get boobs all the time. How hard could this be? This would be easy.
Right.
I had great plastic surgeons who said, and again, sorry, Mike, sorry. But they were like, okay, here's what we can do for you. We're going to do these implants, and on your left side, because you didn't have any radiation, we can make a nipple and we can do all of this. But your right side, that skin will never stand for that. So we're just going to be able to give you an implant, and that's it. And again, I can't say enough. I haven't said anything about my husband. He is a rock, and we've been married forever since the dawn of time. And I didn't, again, when I say I'm blessed, I didn't have to worry, was my husband going to love me, find me attractive, still think I'm a woman? None of that. So I had surgery, had my implants put in, and again, not knowing anything, they put these implants in, you have surgery, put the implants in, and then you go every other week and they inject you. There's magnets inside of the implant that come to the top, and they inject the saline into the implant, and it stretches your skin.
Oh my goodness. So even that's a process to get back to feeling normal.
I walked like this for about 3 days. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? But you would just lie there and they'd put the needle and you could feel the little magnet come up to the top, and they would inject you and it would stretch. And I was a C kissing a D at the beginning of this madness. I'm lucky if I'm a B on a good day. Because I said, I think I'm done. Yeah. And the doctor was lovely. He's like, no, I think we can get you back to a C. I said, yeah, that's a hard no. I've been hurting for a long time, sir. That's a hard no. My husband will be fine. So I stopped that then. And that was probably 4 months. So now we're probably in April of the following year. So it's been 1.5 years of my life with all of that. And then maybe 6 months later, my eyes started to swell and my throat started to close up, and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. I couldn't speak. In fact, I was supposed to go to Holy Cross to the mother-daughter breakfast and talk about my cancer journey. And it felt like my tongue was swollen. Like I couldn't speak precisely. Yeah. We were having the main event at school, and I'm supposed to read the questions, and I'm like, I can't talk. Yeah. Radiation had killed my thyroid, and I had no idea. So my eyes were swelling shut, and my throat was swelling shut. Oh, and I finally went to the doctor thinking, what is wrong with me? And I have zero thyroid activity at all. So now I take thyroid medicine every day of my life for the rest of my life. As a bonus, as a reminder every day that I am lucky to be here.
Obviously, your attitude and your spirit and your sense of humor went a long way through this journey, to help you through the journey. What advice would you have to people? Maybe they just got a diagnosis, or maybe they're in the middle of the very hard, grueling part of it where it's hard to get up every day and keep fighting. What is your advice to them?
You have everything to live for. Everybody deals with this in their own way, but you can't fight what you don't know. You can't fight what you don't understand. You can't fight if you are not your own advocate. And I've had many friends say, I felt something, but I don't really want to go to the doctor. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I understand it's scary, but what's scarier is there could be something growing in your body right now. That's scary. You've got to go now and get it taken care of.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people. Don't hide in the dark. Don't hide in the dark. Don't be alone. You're allowed to have those moments. I had many of those. And again, as a non-crier, that's hard to admit, but I did. I cried at school when I typically don't do that. I boo-hooed on Mother's Day because I was hurting so badly. I was so constipated from the chemo that I could barely move. And it was Mother's Day, and I made my husband and children, I'm like, you've got to get out of this house, go away. Leave me alone. I'm miserable because I can't poop. You gotta go. And they went out. I said, go celebrate me being here, but I can't go.
Yeah.
Like, I have hurt, and I have pulled the covers over my head. Whenever I have a pain in my head, I stress. My cancer doesn't come back typically as breast cancer again. It comes back as brain cancer. Because I told the doctor, I'm like, you take it all. I'm having no more kids. You can have the ovaries, you can have the uterus, you can have whatever you want. And he's like, well, that is stellar, but you're probably going to need your brain.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Can't have my brain.
Little bits and pieces, yeah. He said, that's typically where mine will recur.
Right.
So again, I could hide, I could cry, I could be nervous, I could be mad, and it gets me nothing. If I make note, if I feel anything strange or weird going on, I try to think about what's going on around me. You are your own best advocate. Find the joy, be the light, help other people. You'll feel better when you help somebody else. Contribute. Anything, do anything. Hiding in the dark doesn't bring you any joy. Get out there. There are groups like Shirley's Way. There are many groups, Gilda's Club. There are many groups that are there to help you if you just don't know. Like I said, I was very blessed to have a group already.
Right.
But I'm happy to be part of somebody's group. What Mike, what all of you are doing here, you are people's group who just don't know. They'll get you what you need. Don't be afraid to ask. It's scary, but you can come out on the other side. I am going 10 years. 10 years in February. And my chances of recurrence are slimmer every day.
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't worry, no. But do I think about it very often? No, I don't, because I'm busy trying to be happy and live my life and enjoy it and spread that out to other people. So you can go through hell and come out on the other side, and it's not easy and it's not fun. And I really hope it doesn't happen to anybody. I wish it wouldn't happen to anybody. I can't believe that this is the best cure that is out there, chemotherapy. There's got to be something else out there.
Yeah.
But you can do it. We can do hard things. We can all do hard things, and we can come out on the other side.
And the payoff on the other side.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Is wonderful. I had my 31st anniversary this year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. And thank you for being part of Shirley's Army and sharing your story. You truly are an inspiration. Obviously, very hard, very grueling, but you are here. You're happy, you're healthy, and that's a good thing.
Thank you so much.
So, of course, if anyone wants to find out more information about Shirley's Way, please check out the website, be a part of Shirley's Army, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.